Hello everyone, and welcome to our update on January 22nd, 2024. So, yesterday we had Storm Isha, one of the most severe storms in recent years, with a total of 235,000 homes without power from the storm. And just to tell you that Ophelia peaked at 375,000, and I think that most storms recently didn't even make it to 100,000 homes with no power. So, very strong storm yesterday. And guess what? We have a new name system, Storm Jocelyn, centered well out to our west currently. However, its systems are already brewing, and look at this massive cloud. That is barreling towards Ireland right now. Also, here is Storm Isha towards Scandinavia today, and on its southern flank we have these cold winds coming in from Greenland, and that is forming showers. And actually, here's the radar. These specks are pushing into Northern Ireland and Scotland, and actually, there is some lightning from these showers. A few thunderstorms around this evening. Actually, today there were some storms, especially for Donegal, and we did see a warning for storms issued there. And again, as I mentioned before, that's because we're seeing this very cold air from Greenland having a long sea track over the warmer Atlantic, and therefore there is a lot of convection taking place here. So, big, beefy cumulonimbus clouds are pushing in from the Atlantic with big hail showers, rain showers, and thunderstorms. Here is the UKV short range forecast. So today was a very showery day with some storms in places, especially in the northwest. Tonight we will see this rain coming in from southwest by 3 a.m, 4 a.m, quite widely, and it will be countrywide by about 6 a.m. Now, this rain will continue in the morning. It might become a bit drier for a time in the south, but as a general rule, it will stay wet for many areas. And then into the afternoon, a cold front comes through, and we see blustery winds and showers coming in from the west. Again, heaviest and most frequent in the northwest. Also, just to say that we have an orange warning for Donegal, Galway and Mayo, and elsewhere we have a yellow warning. Basically, whatever warning colour you had for Storm Isha, downgraded by one status, and you have your warning for Storm Jocelyn. Not as severe, but because we have weakened trees, weakened structures, Storm Jocelyn could provide the final blow. For example, personally, on the main road near me, there's a big coniferous tree leaning over the road. It's partially uprooted, and I think that it won't take much to get that onto the road, so therefore could be quite a bit of damage from this. So moving forward, we can see that on Wednesday we see a dry day with a few showers in the north, and into Thursday we see more rain coming up from southwest. Heavier rain there on Thursday night. Friday is cooler, some showers go wintry there, and it's a cool and bright day on Friday. And into Friday evening, Saturday morning, up comes more rain. So here is the temperature forecast from UKV. So UKV is showing today was quite a cool day because of that polar maritime air mass. Tomorrow, Tuesday, will be very mild with highest temperatures in the lower teens in that warm sector. Then moving into Wednesday, we see a cooler day again in the mid to high single figures. Thursday is milder as we're into a warm sector there. So you can see we have a cool day and mild day, cool day and mild day. Friday might start with grass frost, but again it's a cooler day on Friday. The Saturday is a milder day. So you can see it's very zonal, very westerly, very changeable, and because of the changing air masses, it'll be quite wet. So here is the wind gust graphic from UKV. So we already had Storm Isha, but it's still blustery, especially in the northwest, but all areas were windy today. Moving forward, we see Tuesday. We have frontal winds from many areas, but this inland widely between about 40 and 50 miles per hour, possibly a bit stronger locally. But in the evening, we see widespread gusts inland of around 45 to 60 miles per hour, and above that for the west coast, and especially for Donegal into the late night, we see wind gusts between 60 and 70 miles per hour. Not as strong as Isha, but because we have these weakened structures and trees, definitely could do some big damage. Yeah, so that's Storm Jocelyn. And then into the early hours of Wednesday morning, big strong core of winds for Scotland. So here is, by the way, yes, in storms we have the frontal core of winds and the main core of winds. So for example, most areas yesterday got hit by the frontal core of winds on that cold front. Like for me, between 6 p.m. and 7 p.m., it was very, very violent outside just before the cold front cleared through. And then we had the main core of winds on the southern side on the southern side of the low, especially impacting the west and north. So here is the NAO index observed and forecasted. So we're currently very positive with the index. It will go even more positive into the end of the week, then collapse into February. And the collapse in February is interesting, but I'll say no more than that. So here is the GFS 12Z from today. GFS is showing Storm Jocelyn tomorrow, before it's dry on Wednesday. Then it's wet windy again on Thursday. Into Friday, it's drier and cooler. Saturday, I think, is wet and mild. And then Sunday is drier, possibly. And then into next week, it starts off dry, possibly a bit chilly. Then goes milder and wetter again. Then it just stays westerly, maybe a bit windy there by Friday, February 2nd. We keep going, and it's drier briefly again by February 3rd. And it just stays quite mild and westerly. GFS 12 says shows no Letup, with highs to the south, lows to the north pattern. So that's a bit concerning, but it's only one GFS run. Here is the ECMWF 12 says. ECM shows Storm Jocelyn tomorrow. Again, not as severe as Storm Isha. Then into Wednesday, we see that brief dry day. Then Thursday was wetter again. Deep low PV is very intense there towards Greenland. And then on Friday, we see a ridge to the south, and it's quite cool and dry then, before it goes milder again by Saturday with rain. Sunday, I think that might be a bit damp. And into Monday, it goes damp and mild. Then into the start of February, it just goes very mild. The plus 10 Celsius ice therm. Is it just me, or is this the first winter where the plus 10 Celsius ice therm is getting in, even during the coldest part of the winter, when the air masses in the northern hemisphere are at their coldest? It might be me, but it seems pretty exceptional. Here is the UK Met Office run. Let's look at this. So let's go through this then. So tomorrow we have some Jocelyn, and then dry day on Wednesday under that brief bump of high pressure. Then we see that wet day on Thursday. Into Friday it goes cooler and drier. Into Saturday and Sunday it's quite mild and damp. And then briefly drier from Monday before that next low comes in. GEM is next up. GEM, here we go. So, general trend for westerly winds. So we see these westerlies tomorrow. That is quite intense, actually, with some Jocelyn. And then beyond that, Wednesday goes wet, windy, and stormy. Not really stormy with that. Thursday and Friday, should I say, just a bit breezy and wet. Then of the weekend, it goes slightly drier, I think. It's hard to tell because there's quite slack pressure there, but I think that there might be some. Yeah, there is rain. There is rain with that. Anyway, going forward, we see very mild weather into the start of February. So by February 1st, it's looking very mild again. The plus, almost it's around plus 13 Celsius in the core of the warmth here. Yeah, actually no, plus 14 Celsius ice term, threatening the Kerry coast. That is ridiculously warm. I say warm, not miles. And that's February, early February, the time in the winter when the air masses over the northern hemisphere are meant to be at their coldest. And here is the icon. So you see the icon. I mean, that temperature in the summer, that those upper temperatures are above average or average for summer, for July. That would give us temperatures of like 30 Celsius. And we see that in February. Excuse me. Here is the icon run. So the icon again has Storm Jocelyn tomorrow. Look at that again. Briefly drier on Wednesday before Thursday is wet, windy again. Friday is drier and cooler. And we go into the weekend and it's very mild and wet, upper temperatures. Not as dramatic, okay? And here is the arpege to round us off. The arpege, this. So again, we have Storm Jocelyn tomorrow. Dry on Wednesday, wet and windy on Thursday. Dry and cooler on Friday. The weekend goes mild and wet again. Dampish. Yeah, and deep PV to our north. So everyone, thanks for watching. Possibly ridiculously mild into early February, but I doubt that will verify. I mean, it'll probably be mild, but just not to that level. But anyway, the general trend now is westerly winds, but this collapsed in the NAO that needs to be monitored. So thanks for watching. So everyone, thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow, and bye for now.